What is up, everybody? Oh, we got confetti going. Not sure why that happened, but it did. Okay. All right. Tonight we start off looking at day number 5 of the Advent of Cyber. We're gonna get into some fun stuff tonight. What is the title of this one? Totally forgot what the title was. All right. Day number 5, Sockmas XX Whatty? XX Whatty? All right, so as we continue on with our story, we now find out that we've got a development team, okay? And this development team has somebody by the name of Software. He's an elf, software elf, we'll call him. He is finishing up all of his projects for the end of the season and trying to wrap everything up before the Christmas break. And he's on his way home, and as he's heading home, he crosses paths with a young one that's outside and looking glum. And he looks down and he says, "Hey, why so glum?" And the child looks at him and says, "I don't know what I want for Christmas." And he said, "Well, think about it and tell me, what would you, if you could have anything, what would you want for Christmas?" Then he looked back and he goes, "You know, I'd really like a teddy bear for Christmas, but I know my family can't afford it." And that got Software Elf to thinking. He started envisioning a new platform that everybody in town could use. Maybe they could go to this site or use this platform to put their Christmas wishes on there. And maybe, just maybe, the town could help people's wishes come true. So he goes in the next day and he says, "Hey, Mayor Malware, I got this idea. What do you think?" And Mayor Malware looks at him and says, "That's fantastic. I think we should do it. I think you and your team need to get on it right now and go do it and get it done." So the team jumps in place and they rush to get everything set up and put together. And it's an instant success. And everybody in town starts using this platform. But there's just one problem. You know what that problem is? That problem is when you do something fast, you're going to have consequences. Usually there's 3. Let me roll over to here. Usually when it comes to building out software or creating a project or doing a project, you have 3 variables. So you have the cost, you have the time, and then a big variable is security. So if you're going to do something fast and cheap, I guarantee there's not going to be a lot of security in there, right? And unfortunately, that's what they did with this. He wanted to get it out. He wanted to make sure that it was there for Christmas so everybody could do this. And because they rushed so fast and launched it, they didn't do any security testing. So now they've come to us, and what they want us to do is they want us to ensure that the platform is secure and free of all vulnerabilities. And that way we can make sure that all the people of Wareville are protected. So we're going to do that tonight. We're going to look at how we can protect everybody in Wareville while they're on this platform. Let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit. That's our kickoff story for tonight. So our objectives tonight, we're going to understand the basic concepts of that relate to XML. We're going to explore something called XML external entity and the components that it uses. We're going to learn how to exploit the vulnerabilities. And then by the end of this, we should understand how we can remediate all of this. All right. So let's talk about what in the world is this thing we call XML. So XML is a markup language. It's an extensible markup language that we can use. You can look on here. We can see that they've given us a little graphic of a filing cabinet, and we can think of XML as a filing cabinet. So we've got XML as the filing cabinet in itself. And then we've got what we call tags. Maybe the tag is a drawer. And then we've got some more tags in here that create files. So we see like name, address, email, phone number, and so forth. All right. So let's go ahead and see if we can't grasp this concept of what XML is. Let me scroll up down here. So XML is basically a structured format language that's used to transport data from one computer to another. And you can see down here at the bottom that it is readable not just by machines, but humans can actually read this. It's easy to read. We can look at it. When you get a whole bunch of it together, it becomes a little crazy. But if you've ever done anything with HTML, it looks a lot like it. The tags look just like HTML, right? So this acts as a common language for data exchanges between the systems. And what it does is it ensures that both devices talking to each other agree on how whatever it is that comes across, how the information is formatted. Okay? So, like we said before, it's kind of similar to a filing cabinet. Scroll down a little bit. Look at this. So, you can see in here, we've got our tag of people, and then we've got a tag of name, and then the name is glitch, and then we close it out with our / name. So that closes this one out, this line out, and when that comes up, or when that gets inputted in, our output is going to be glitch, where on address it's going to be Warville, and on email it's going to be glitch@wareville.com, and then our phone number will be 111000. So that's the information that's going to be output on a page, or that is given out. Okay. Now we've got another little thing that's called DTD. So what in the world is DTD? Man, we've got a whole bunch of acronyms here tonight. So what is DTD? So now that the computers understand and they share a language, a common language, a format, now what they're going to do is we've got DTD, which stands for document type definition. Let me get my mouse over here. So we got document type definition on here. And basically what this is it's like a blueprint. And what it does is it specifies elements, or quote unquote tags, and the attributes that the XML document allow. And it ensures a consistency throughout this whole document, right? And adherence to like the specific structure and so forth with it. And it's kind of, they say in here that it's kind of like a database, I believe. So if we scroll down a little bit, we'll see at the top we now have doc type, right? So we've got doc type in here, and the document type is going to be people. So you saw above, right, where we actually created a tag for people. Now we've got a doc type of people, and in there we're going to have our elements, and the element of people, and in there that's going to define what it is, right? So people are going to have a name, they're going to have an address, they're going to have an email, and they're going to have a phone. So then that next line on here, our element, we've got our name, right? We've got our name, we've got our address, we've got our email, and we've got our phone number. And then on the right side of all of this, we've got our data. So this will be the actual data that goes into, whether or not it's straight text or whatnot, that would be the data that's going to go into it. Okay. Hopefully I'm explaining this and everybody is understanding. Let me check on chat real quick. All right. So let's go ahead and scroll down some. So now that we kind of understand what DTD is and how it's the blueprint of everything, now we're going to look at something else that's called entities. And this is where it gets not complicated, but this is where it can get pretty powerful. All right. So now that we understand the XML layout, we understand what DTD is and how it acts as a blueprint for the document, we can discuss these entities. So what in the world is an entity? So we know that both computers have now agreed on the format that's coming through. They've agreed on the data. They've agreed on the type of data. But now we're going to look at what are these entities? So entities are part of the XML file that make it easy to grab data from somewhere else, right? So think about it as you're going to go type something into a web form, and if you go type in your name where it says name, right? We type in Santa, and that's the name, and then we hit, go, and it puts Santa in there. Well, what if instead of putting Santa in there, what if we actually pointed that to an external entity or even an internal entity? What if we put something in there like what we've got down here, like tryhackme.com/robots.txt? What would that do? So we saw above where we had our people, right? We had, where's that? Let's go back up here where we had defined an element. So those elements got defined. Now, if we look at this, now we're defining an entity, and that entity's definition now is going to be ext. So that's going to be our definition. That's going to be defined. Or a better word would be that's going to be our, and I did it again. This is what I was looking for last night, and I could not, and now it's stuck in my head again, macro. I don't know why I keep thinking that. This is going to be our input, and our input, when it pops in my head, I'm going to scream it out. When we have this input put in, now it's going to go and reach out to this website, and this website it's going to read everything on there and dump whatever it is into this specific tag, right? So the output of this would be glitch, and then it would be glitchwareville.com. Then it would be 111000, and then it would be right here, our ext. We're going to read this specific file, and whatever is, oh, hey, come on now. Whatever is in this file over here, not that file, but whatever's in this file over here, that's what's going to go into that field. All right. Hopefully, that way we didn't have to read everything word for word. Hopefully that kind of introduces everything to us and we understand a little bit about it. But if we think about this, so if I have the ability to just reach out to robots.txt, what's stopping me from not reaching out to something that's malicious and throwing it into that field? That's where the vulnerability comes in. That's where we introduce XXE. Y'all let me know if the music's too loud, if I'm screaming over the music or not. All right, so come on. So now we've got XXE, and this is going to kind of walk through. We saw before where it had the robots.txt file, but now we see the same type of setup, but now we're looking in here and we're looking at the etc password file. And if anybody in here understands Linux or has worked with Linux before, you know that specific file, if you were to put this into here, we would get a printout of glitch as our name. Our email address would be glitch@wareville.com. We would get a phone number of 11000, and then in the address field, guess what we would get? We would get all of the usernames and passwords that are on that box. So you can see as we continue on in here, this could be pretty powerful, right? So this right here says THM file. We put THM file in here, and now we get to read whatever's in this file. So we've gone through this. All right. So that's our overview of what we're going to be looking at tonight and how we're going to go through everything. So now it's time for the practical. We're only about 15 minutes in, so it took me 15 minutes to go through that, and we're going to fly through this because it's not that big. I've already connected to the machine, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. So here's our IP address, and we're going to take a look at the websites and so forth. So let me move over to this screen. Let's get this machine. Let's get this over here. Let's connect to TryHackMe. Pull all that information up. Now we should be on VPN. There's our IP address. All right, here is our website. So we've got our website here. So let's go to the website here. So to do this, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to connect to the website that software and his team built. We're going to use a tool called Burp Suite, and using Burp Suite, we're going to be able to intercept everything. Hold on a second. Got a frog in my throat. Throat got dry. We're going to be able to intercept all traffic that's going into that website, see it on the back end in Burp Suite, be able to read it out, see what's going on, and that's going to allow us to figure out where the vulnerabilities are. So let's go ahead and fire a Burp Suite, actually. Probably should have fired this up before. Aaron Carson. How's it going? How is everybody tonight? Very nine. Reading chat while this comes up. Let's start up Burp Suite. Let me make sure you guys can see everything on here. We're going to use the Burp Suite browser. Is this too small to... Oh man, it's tiny. All right, we need to make this bigger. Give me just a second. Let's make sure that everything is good on here. Let's... Well, this is small. Let's see what we got in here. 28. Okay, we should be good. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to come over to... Where is proxy? Give me a new project. How did I not have proxy in here? Hold on a second. This did not load correctly. Maybe I loaded it wrong. I gotta have my proxy so I can actually intercept everything. Don't forget, y'all are watching a master at work. Use burp defaults. Okay, start burp. Well, I can't do this without the proxy. Where the heck is the proxy? All right, hold on. What in the world is going on? Am I just not seeing what the... Talk about a fail. Project, intruder, repeater. This is a total fail. Where in the world? Anybody see this? Because I don't. I'm looking for proxy so I can actually load my proxy in burp. For whatever reason, proxy is not showing up at the top. So if I open Burp Suite, I should be able to basically throw defaults in here. We got a temporary project. Perfect. New temporary project. Next. All right. Use burp. Yes. Use burp. Start burp. Keep saying burp. Burp, burp, burp. target. Oh, there we go. Let's open the browser. Good lord, I'm retarded. All right, got it. I was looking ahead of something that was not happening yet. All right, so we've got our browser open. We need our IP address. Told you, you're watching a master at work. Master manipulator. All right, we're gonna drop this down. Yay! All right, here we go. Perfecto. No, that's still not right. All right, that's still not right because it's not proxying in between. Hold on a second. Allow burp strong. Let's do a well, I just saw a proxy on there. All right, we're gonna restore all defaults. I don't know what is going on. I don't know why I don't see this. This is nuts. Where in the world? I don't need the website. Alright, allow these settings. We're running this without a sandbox. Perfect. That way I don't need to put anything on here. That's fine. I don't know what is going on. You know what? All else fails, we can reboot. I don't know why my burp does not have proxy. Talk about a massive fail. Let's do this. Open our browser. Let's put in our file. Let's turn on. I don't have interceptor. I don't have anything. I can't intercept the traffic if it's not in there. What in the world is going on? Send to intruder. Well, I'm totally lost right now. Check view. Maybe it could be. Yeah, let's see. View proxy. Oh, look, there you go. But okay, so why is this not up here at the top? Why did it go away? We'll turn our interceptor on. Maybe we can do it. We may be doing it jank style. This will be janky. All right, let's turn this on. Let's go back to interceptor's on. Perfect. Now we need our browser back. Then we got our browser. Okay, now we've got everything on here. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see if I refresh this. Perfect. Now we've got interception. What in the world? All right, Brent B, you're the man. I don't know why this is hidden, and I don't know why it's not up. So that is something I'm going to have to look into. But we'll move on. Let me move my big head out of the way. There we go. All right, so now we've got the interceptor on. We've got our proxy in place. We can now see that we've connected to the website. And once we've connected to the website, here's what's going on in the background. We see this information in the background. And once we hit forward, then it's going to load the page. So now the page is loaded. Let's go ahead and click on the jolly hat and we'll see what happens. We'll see that over here in our proxy that loads, but you see nothing happened over here on the web page. So if we go ahead and hit forward again, we have nothing else to forward, but now the page loads again. Okay, so now if we add this to our wish list, we see before it loads, now we see some familiar things in here. This is what we just talked about a minute ago. So you see down at the bottom, we've got some XML in place. Okay, so with that XML in place, we see our wish list, we see a user ID, we see an item number, and that's it. So we can go ahead and let's forward that. And when we forward it, we see over here at the top, we see that we've got our Wherever Jolly Cap and it's been added to our cart. Make that a little bit bigger. So it's been added to our cart. Now we can go ahead and let's go ahead and click on our cart and see what's in our cart. Once again, as we intercept it, we are looking here to see what's going on. Not much in here that we see, so we'll go ahead and forward this over. We see that we now have a Jolly Cap, and the only thing we can remove it. We can proceed to checkout. Let's go ahead and proceed to our checkout. And in our checkout, we can see that it looks like we've got cookies in place. We can go ahead and forward this traffic again. Then it's looking for a name. So let's type in a name. We got Santa Claus. We'll just say North Pole. Whoop. North Pole 1. And we can complete the checkout. That's going to pop up. We can see down here in... Where's my mouse? Come on. We can see down at the bottom where it's got the Santa Claus and the address of North Pole 1. That's the information that's going to be input that's in this file. So that should go in. We'll go ahead and hit forward. And then now we see on here, we see a printout where it says, wish has been successful. So your wish has now been saved as wish number 21. So perfect. So if we click on it, because it looks like it's active, so if we click on it, what do we get? Looks like we get another PHP session ID. So we get another cookie. We'll forward that over. And it looks like it says, error, Santa's elves are the only ones who can read these wishes. Well, that's not good. We're going to be able to read these wishes. Can we read these wishes? Is there a way for us to look at that? That's where XXE pops in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back through that whole thing we just did a little bit quicker, and we're going to add all of this into another section within Burp Suite and see if we can't find out what's going on. Let me see. Can I? Maybe I just added it. Hey, look at that. I added it. All right. I don't know what in the world happened. Perfect. So let's go back and we're going to pull this in let me pull this over real quick. So we have this in place because we're going to do a couple of things here. So we're going to intercept all this traffic once again. We're going to intercept it, and what we're going to do is we're going to send this off. All right. So we're going to send this off to the repeater. And Burp Suite is awesome because it's got all these different types of tools in it. And with repeater, what we can do is we can replay what just happened over and over and over without having to deal with the website. So let's go back to the home. Or actually, let's turn our interceptor off right now so we can get back to the home page. All right, so we're on the home page now. We've got a new cart. We're going to start all over from scratch. Let's go ahead and turn our interceptor back on. So now that our interceptor's on, let's go ahead and try and get that hat again. So we'll click on there. And then now with this, what we want to do is let's send all of these pages over to our repeater, and then we can look at these pages and see if there isn't something we can do. So to add them to repeater, all we got to do is hit Control R. You'll see up here at the top, repeater goes different color. Now we want to go ahead and forward that traffic over. Now we're on this next page. We want to add this to our wish list, just like we just did. Now we've gotten to the page that we had XML on. So let's go ahead and hit R on there. Send that over to repeater, and we'll forward it on over. And now it says that it was successful. The wish went in place. Perfect. So let's add this wish. Wait, we did that. We added it. No, we're going to drop it. See, I can hit drop, and the page does not go. Let's go back. Uh-oh. Let's go to our cart. So now we're back to our cart. We've got our Jolly Cap in place. Let's go ahead and proceed to checkout. Let's add this in. We never know what we might actually need, so we'll proceed to checkout. We'll forward that one on. Now we'll put in how about we put in Miss Claus? That way we know, and I'm sure she probably lives with him, so they'll probably still be at North Pole 1. And we'll go ahead and complete that checkout. We see what we've got in here. North Pole 1, that's our information. We're going to go ahead and hit R again, add that to the repeater and forward. Perfect. And now that is wish number 22. So we have wish number 22. Let's go ahead and click on wish number 22. Loads. We'll forward that. And now we're done using proxy for right now. Okay. So now let's go ahead and jump into the repeater and let's find out what we can do with this stuff. Turn this off. All right, we're gonna hide the web page and we're gonna look at all this. So now we've got, hopefully this is big enough. Is it big enough? Hopefully everybody can see that. Is it not big enough? Too big? Too small? So now over here on our left-hand side, we've got repeater. So we can take this information here and we can send that information. So if I send it, that's going to be my response, right? So here's my response to what it is. And this is going to be, this looks like it was one of the pages that we sent over prior to, or this was one of the ending pages, right? So our first page, let's look at this first page. It doesn't really have anything on here. We can look at our second page. And our second page is the one that we looked at before, right? So the second page is the one that's actually got the XML that we talked about earlier. And one thing we can do with this XML is we want to add that document piece to the top of that. So we have our structured language in place, right? So let's go back over. And we'll scroll down. So we've done all of this already. And now we're trying to figure out how we can find out where all this information is located. So we see now we've got the user one, we've got our product one. They went through, they're showing the post, showing how proxy is working, our wish list. This is talking about we can prepare specific payloads to get into here. So So what we're going to want to do is we're going to add a payload into this. You will see in here that we've got our XML version, right? So we're going to go ahead and put this into our page. Let's go ahead and add that in. Oop. Trying to grab it. We're going to grab this and we're going to put this in above. And now with that pasted in, now let's see what happens. We've got product 1 and we have product 1, right? So now with this in place, we can go in and replace what's in place. So where we have entity 1, if I come in here and we put payload like we did before, right? So we had on the page before we had, when we were talking about everything, they put like etc, right? Or ext. So let's go ahead and let's add payload under the product and let's see what happens. So if I put in payload under here and we rerun this, what happens? We should see, for those that can tell, we should see a host file. So this is going to be looking at the system's host file on that box, on that web server. So if we hit this, we should get an output of the host file on here. And we do. All right. So now we see 127.0.0.1 local host. We say IPv6 hosts on there. So perfect. Now what we need to do is we need to figure out how can we use this to our ability. All right. So if we go in and we change, if we change host, like we talked about before, we talked about the password. So if I actually put password in here and did it now, watch what we're going to see. We're going to get a dump of all of the usernames that are in that password file. So you see how this could be detrimental. So now we need to find out what file do we want to go look for. If you've worked in the industry for a while, you know that when it comes to web servers like IIS server or a Linux server like IIS, if you have dealt with it, you know that going to c:/inetpub/wwroot is usually where all the files are held. That same thing happens for Linux servers. So Linux servers, most of the HTML documents are in /var/www/html, and usually after that, that's where all of the files are stored. So we could use that to our ability, and we could add that into here and see what happens. So if we go and we copy or we move over and type in this into the system, what could we get out? So let's try this real quick. So knowing that that's our file, let's remove this. Let's go back to our website, and we see that if we use what we know, knowing that it's var/www, we'll know that all we need to really do is we just need to add wishes/wish and then the number in txt, and we should get that printout over on this side. So let's try this. So now I've got wish1 in here. So we should get a username of our user ID of 1, and then we should get a new payload, and it should be the printout or the text file of wish1. Let's do that. Let's send that in. And there you go. So now you see in here, we've got our product ID of wish number 1, and then we've got the information. Mayor Malware is doing a test. The product is a wordy cane, and then the quantity is 1, and everything else shows that it's invalid. So doing that, we could circle our way all the way through. We know that ours, when we put it in, was 22 and 23, so we were the last ones to go to this site. So we know that we can go 1 through probably 21 or 23 and run that through and then find out what's all in everything. Now, a great tool that Burp Suite has allows you to do this in an automated way. So what we want to do is we want to right click and send this stuff over to Intruder and show how we can do this in an automated way and then just click on everything instead of having to sit here and go wish 1 and then do it, and 2, do it. We can send this over to Intruder. Let's do that. If we open up Intruder, now what we can do is we can create a new payload. So if we come into here, we've got our payload. We want to add a file in here. So where it's got 1, so we're going to highlight 1 and we're going to make it increment this automatically. So come on, highlight 1, and we're going to say add. And it's going to say, well, how do we want to do this? Well, it's not a simple list. We want to do numbers. So we're going to click on numbers, and it's going to say from what number to what number. So we'll say, we already know what 1 is because we saw 1. We'll say to 23. Do I not have? Hey, there it goes, 23. And we'll start on 2 because we already saw 1. So now, if I hit the attack button, what it's going to do is it's going to automate this for me. It's going to be amazing. It's going to automatically do it. I'll be able to walk right on through and look at it. So let's go ahead and hit start attack. Come on. It's going to give us a little error because we're not on a paid version. But you see now, here's all of our automation. All right. So we click on the first one. This is our very first one. We already knew that. That's wish 1. This is our request, but what we want to see is we want to see what the response is. So let's click over here on the response, and here's our response. That's 1. So now I can use my down arrow key and we can fly through all these and see if there's anything interesting in here. And it looks like product ID number 2 is once again Mayor Malware. Another wordy cane. We can keep on going through. Looks like we're product 5. We're still testing address tests. It looks like Mayor Malware he did his own test. Keep on cruising through. Oh, here we go. So on wish number 15, we've got a little change. We do see a flag. It says PS. The flag is. So that's our flag. But we see that Mayor Malware has done something in here and went through and tested a whole bunch before we actually got. There we go. Test. So Teddyville. So we got some tests, but Mayor Malware did 17 tests on this system, and I wonder why he did 17 tests. So let's go ahead and copy this flag real quick. Let's go back over here. We'll scroll down and put this in place. And we'll submit that one. Oh, did I put in the wrong one? I did. I put in the wrong one. Hate it when that happens. There we go. All right. So now we've gone all the way through. We've gone through this part. We've found everything, and let's read what we've got in the conclusion here. So for today, it says it was confirmed that the application was vulnerable. For whatever reason, it was vulnerable. And the developers were not at fault since they were only given the townspeople something before, since they were only wanted to give the townspeople something before Christmas. However, it became evident that bypassing security testing led to an application that was not secure in any way, shape, or form. So, as soon as the vulnerability was discovered, McSkitty promptly coordinated with the developers to implement the necessary mitigations. The following proactive approach helped to address these potential risks. So here's what's showing how we can put information into this into XML to make sure that this doesn't happen. So by disabling external entity loading, the primary fix is to disable this. In PHP, for example, you can prevent XXE by setting libxml disable entity loader true before it processes an XML. So that way it's not going to process any external entities. And then this just isn't for XML. This is for any website that you're doing. If you have users inputting something on your website, you want to find a way to sanitize whatever they're putting in. You want to make sure that if it is a number field, that only numbers are going in there. If it is a credit card information that's going in there, that it only has the right amount of numbers for credit cards, right? You don't want it to be an open field. So that's for everything. So it says, after discovering the vulnerability, McSkitty immediately remembered that a changelog file exists within the web application log that's stored at the following endpoint, and then it says, oh, there's a changelog, so we can click on here. After checking, it can be that someone pushed a vulnerable code within the application software team. So let's go ahead and click on this, and let's find out what happened here. Let me blow this up so you guys can see it. And we see our changelog. So usually changelogs are going to go from bottom to top in the way they did. So we see our initial commit, and then we see who is it? Looks like software. Yeah, software did a commit, and then he did another commit, and then he did another commit, and then we had old malware right here. He did that commit. So he came in behind everybody after they got everything up. It probably wasn't vulnerable, or it could have still been vulnerable, but what it looks like is that Mayor Malware came in behind them and put in this code that allowed him to go into the backend and be able to see what's going on. So we see here that he fixed the wish list page, or the wishlist.php page, and here is our next code. So we'll go ahead and come back down to here and put that in and submit it. And then it says, if you want to learn more about XXE, man, these are hard to say, XXE injection attack, check out the XXE room. So we can do that. We can check out the XXE room. Should be fun. Now, I always love using Burp Suite and doing these rooms on Try Hack Me, because I don't get to do Burp Suite a lot, and it's always fun to do these type of walkthroughs to actually see how this stuff works. Being someone that spends most of their time, like 99.9% of my time, doing blue team stuff, searching for stuff, this always is great to do, to be able to look at and understand how something works, right? So then when you're in a meeting with developers or something, these are things you can bring up. You can be like, hey, are we sure that we're not, we don't have issues with XXE? And they'll look at you like, what? But you've done it and you understand it and you know what's going on. That doesn't mean that you're an expert at it, but what it does mean is that you understand, you've seen it, you've done it. And that's what's great about Try Hack Me here, is they give you the ability to see, be part of it, learn it, and then be able to use it in the real world. So that's it for today. Let me close this one. Guess I could change this. Hey, what happened there? Why did I not? There it goes. Why did my face go away? What is going on here? That's interesting. All right. We're going to go back to this screen. I don't know. All right, we're going to switch over. Interesting. All right. Back up and over. All right, so we're sitting here playing with stuff. I did have, for everybody who was here last night, everybody saw, and I did talk at the end of it about adding stuff in and making sure that we had good stuff, different things. I think I put Santa Claus on here. Tonight I added another little thing in here, and because we finished it, usually when you finish and you win and you do something, you get to pop off some confetti. What in the... Hold on a second here. There we go. There's our confetti. So we have confetti for tonight. We finished it. Everything was great, grand, wonderful. Last night we actually showed that if we have somebody on here, or we have a new subscriber on here, we get a little Santa Claus that comes up and shoots. But what I didn't realize until we were completely off was that you guys didn't hear the sound. The sound wasn't coming through. So I spent 15 or 20 minutes afterwards to make sure that you guys could hear the sound. So if you guys were still here, you were here last night, and you saw Santa come up with his grenade launcher and launch it and explode the presents, you didn't get to hear it. So let's go ahead and fire it off here and see what happens. There you go. That's what you guys should have heard last night. Unfortunately, I'm sitting here, I hear that in my ears. I think you guys are hearing that, but you didn't. And that's unfortunate. But now you do get to hear it. So if we do get somebody that comes in, a new person, and they come in and they subscribe, now we're going to have Santa Claus for the next 20 days blow up. But once we get done with the Advent of Cyber, we're going to take this stream. We're going to do more Try Hack Me. I've talked to a couple of people already. I feel like I want to dive into more Try Hack Me, do more of these streams. We're going to do them on YouTube, and I'm going to find a way to make YouTube entertaining and fun, just like Twitch. We can all have fun, sit here and go crazy and talk to each other and chat and make each other laugh, but it's always fun when the stream itself is interactive. And I think tomorrow night we're going to see, I did talk about maybe tomorrow night, Friday night, that we look at doing a after dark Twitch. So we'll do this stream on YouTube and then maybe flip over. And what I may do, still trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, but what I may do, get off of YouTube, then we'll send everybody over to Twitch. I'll give everybody the handle over on Twitch, and then y'all can see just how long it takes me to set up and why I don't necessarily set up the DJ streams that much. It used to, all my equipment used to be back behind me in a big area, and it was all set up, and then I got to where I was working all the time and ripped it all down. So now I've got to come in and set it all up and get our camera angles. In fact, let me see if I got my camera angle on here. Let's see if I can add this other camera angle into this scene. In fact, let me switch over to this one. Maybe it's in this scene. Maybe not. So I've got my DJ board camera. Logitech Brio, there it is. I can't really switch everything over right now, but I'm trying to get, come on. I know. There we go. Oh, look at that. It's all messed up. Y'all are going to see some craziness right now. Let's flip this. It got spun around. Woohoo! Let's spin this bad boy. So here's my desk. Y'all can see my desk now. But usually where this is usually, let me drop this down. We'll put this in place. So this is usually where the DJ board is from this camera right here. So I've got a whole bunch of different cameras. I got a camera here. I actually have another camera over here. That's a cell phone. Boom, this one right here. So this is a cell phone that we can move around. We can look at stuff. Yay, woohoo. I try to make everything as interactive as possible. What you'll see is you'll see a stream, or you'll see everything popped up on there that will have. Okay, I want that. What I don't want is that. I want this back. There we go. Okay. Oh, what's that fun tool? FJXOD. I don't know what that is. Fun tool. I'm not sure what tool you're talking about. But I've got tablets over here. I got all this stuff in place. Usually on the desk, I've got the board here, so this camera sees the board. You can see what I'm doing. My hands are going. It kind of captures the screen in place. But what we may do tomorrow night is, depending on how long the room is, hopefully it's a short room. We'll do a short room, then maybe come on here, get stuff together. I'll work on it. Maybe we can do a quick setup. The one on the right in purple. The one on the right in purple. Are you talking? I'm assuming you're talking about. Hold on. I'm assuming you're talking about this right here. This is my Go XLR. But y'all can watch me get all set up and then we can party and have some crazy stuff. Maybe we'll talk about it in the morning tomorrow and see what kind of music we'll be playing. We'll see how tomorrow goes. That being said, it is 7:55. We're going to go ahead and shut it down for the night. I will see everybody tomorrow morning, bright and early for the daily cyber brief. I did add a couple of things in here. I added stuff in for Joseph. So if nobody has gone and watched Joseph's stream, make sure you give him a go over to his stream, give it a follow. He goes live at 5 o'clock Eastern, which is usually 4 o'clock Central Time. He's going through everything. He's trying to get his channel up and running. He's got a new channel called Learn to Defend Cyber. And I think he's going to start doing more streams. And maybe we'll collaborate and do some things together. But we're going to make sure we give him a follow and get everybody on. I think he had in fact, let me see. See you, Rhonda. Have a great night. See you guys in the morning. Let me see real quick. Yeah, he's got 54 subscribers, so we want to pump his numbers up. We want to get his numbers up there so we can get some people in there, watch him. But for that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I will see everybody in the morning tomorrow. Remember, we got Jawjacking tomorrow. Tomorrow is also the first Friday of the month, so Jerry, I don't know who all's going to be there, but they're going to have people in Discord at around, I think it's around noontime Central, 1 Eastern. You have to go on to Discord and look, but should be fun. So until then, I will see everybody in the morning. Have a great night.